Have you ever seen one of those real estate ads or advertisements where you were just like, man, that just seems way too good to be true? Well, rule of thumb is it probably is too good to be true. So we're going to talk through some of those scenarios today and what to watch out for. What's up, guys? Mark Cannon, your local realtor here in the Phoenix area, and today we're talking through things to watch out for gimmicks in real estate. But before we get into any of that, if you find value in these videos, like the videos, share it with your friends. I'd really appreciate trying to be a resource for people here in the Phoenix real estate market. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so today we're talking through a lot of the real estate gimmicks that we might see out there, and I'm going to give you 3 things to watch out for, and then we'll actually talk a little bit at the end of what some of that means. Now, I can't talk about specific companies or commercials. Can't do that. So I'm just going to give you kind of rules of thumb here. So obviously, as I said earlier, if it does seem too good to be true, it probably is. All right. Nothing is ever, that sweet of a deal typically. And so the first thing that usually people run into is the real estate agency companies or the real estate agents who represent, say, I'm the lowest price out there, right? Flat fee, lowest price, whatever it is. And here's the reality. That may look great. But what are you really getting with that? And here's the other thing, and I always laugh at this because in a real estate transaction, there's a lot of negotiations. And so are those people really that good at negotiating because they just went for the lowest price or we're doing a flat fee and they're not really negotiating with you when you hire them? So are they really that good at negotiating? Probably not. And that's where you're looking at people going, okay, they're the lowest price. Well, how many times do we actually buy low price items and we feel good about it? Not usually. We usually want quality items because we want to make sure that those things last or that they are as good as they say they are. So same kind of rule of thumb with real estate. So you got to watch out for people who are advertising as we're the lowest price or we're a flat rate and we'll beat anybody. You got to watch out for that. The second thing you got to watch out for is a real estate agent or a company saying, just sign these documents. Let's just get going. And it's like, whoa. Well, don't you need to explain stuff to me? No. Just sign them. We'll just get going. We'll start working and we'll explain stuff later. That's a red flag, right? Because you want to make sure that you know what you're signing. And so it's one of those that if somebody's coming to you and just saying, just sign this stuff, don't worry about it, we can ask questions later, that's not a good sign. You want to make sure that you're getting all documents up front, that you're not going to get documents later. Just sign this one agreement and you'll get everything else later. You want to see, hey, let me get all the information here and not just make a rash decision, because you don't want to lock into something that you don't know exactly what's going on. Because if it seems too good to be true where they're just trying to push and they're being salesy like that, you need to take a step back. All right, so number 3 thing to watch out for kind of goes along with number 2, and that's reading the fine print. And the reason I say that is because sometimes there are companies out there that will use different documents than a lot of us real estate agents use, and maybe it's really short document. Oh, that looks pretty sweet, and we're not looking at all the other fine print. Because here's something that people need to know, especially like if you're selling your home, right? If you're selling your home and you go into an agreement with an agent, and let's say 2 weeks later, you're like, man, I really don't like this agent. I want to fire them. Well, there are some companies that won't let you, and they'll say, nope, we're going to hold through the entire term. And that's something you got to watch out for. You got to know what you're getting into with the fine print and what it all means. You need to ask questions because you need to make sure if you're hiring someone, you know exactly what you're getting. And maybe you're looking at reviews online, or maybe you're whatever, make sure you're asking questions. That is the biggest thing, especially reading that fine print and asking questions off of it. So we're back to the rule of thumb again, and that's if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Because the reality is a lot of those companies or real estate agents use those gimmicky lines to get clients, to get them in to sign documents, so that way they have a transaction, right? That's their goal. That's their advertising. And that's fine. That's their method. But you should want a real estate agent who's actually going to be upfront with you, explain everything, want what's best for you, and all of that, and not have to use gimmicky lines to get people in to sign documents. Because here's the reality. If you want someone the lowest, paid real estate agent or company or whatever it is, you can find that, and you're going to get what you pay for. Because typically, communication's usually not the best, and you're going to be missing steps, and maybe things aren't explained. And here's the reality. If you're buying a house or selling a house, that's a very, very large transaction, one of the biggest in your life. Do you want someone who is maybe not going to do everything that some other agents would do, who are going to explain everything? And yes, they cost more, but we have to think of this outside of real estate too. All right, so in life, when we buy a car or buy a cell phone or computer or whatever it is, do we buy the cheapest thing or do we buy quality for the money that we're paying? It's the same thing with real estate where you have to think of, okay, if I try to pay for the cheapest thing, it's probably not going to be what it should have been if I had actually paid a good real estate agent. So something to think about, because here's the reality. I'm not saying you have to pay out the wazoo for a real estate agent, But when you go with the people who are advertising as the cheapest, they're not doing a great job in negotiating already. So are they going to do a good job for you in the actual real estate transaction? It's a question to be asked. If you're thinking about that stuff or you just have questions, I would love to talk with you about it. I'd love to sit down, explain everything to you, because that's how I roll. And I would love to be able to just strategize with you on what's best for you and what fits best for you. So my information's below. I hope you reach out. You've been listening to The Real.